I was just about to correct him. Suddenly, lines of bullet comments appeared before my eyes. Poor female lead, she doesn't realize the male lead deliberately got her name wrong so he could marry the supporting female character. The male lead wrote the name of the supporting female character, Ivy Jiang. Too bad the female lead became mentally impaired after drowning and can't read now. I stared blankly down at the marriage registration form. The name Ivy Jiang was clearly written on it. So she's the female lead who died tragically twice because of her name. Exactly. This time she corrected it, marking the beginning of her tragic fate. The second time, she was too afraid of the male lead to correct it, missing her only chance to save herself. Don't spoil it upstairs. How can we keep watching with spoilers? Hey, why has the female lead gone silent? The registrar is asking her. Wait, the male lead will whisper a reminder in her ear. Answering as they practiced beforehand, reading these comments, my just-cleared mind became confused again. At this moment, Jet Gu leaned close to my ear, his tone laced with warning. Answer the registrar. Admit your name is Ivy Jiang. Hurry, or no candy for you. Ah, the male lead is so mean. Bullying a fool. Can a villain really be the male lead? Female lead, please don't correct your name, or you'll end up married to him and suffer terribly later. Woo-woo, my poor female lead. Little girl, are you Ivy Jiang yourself? What's going on? So, I'm the female lead, a fool, supporting female character, Ivy Jiang, male lead, Jet Gu. The male lead doesn't want to marry me, so he's making me pretend to be the supporting female character. The bullet comments say if I don't follow the male lead's instructions, I'll meet a terrible end later. Seeing the sinister glint in the man's eyes beside me, I couldn't help but shudder, instinctively. I didn't want to get involved with him. My name is Ivy Jiang. That's right, I'm Ivy Jiang. Hearing this, a smile appeared on Jet Gu's face. Yes, her name is Ivy Jiang. What just happened? According to the plot, shouldn't the female lead be making a fuss and insisting her name is Human? Did the screenwriter change the script? Or has the female lead stopped being foolish? Or perhaps, has the female lead been reborn, after verifying their identities? The marriage registrar stamped the marriage certificate bearing the name Ivy Jiang. As the stamp came down, Jet Gu visibly relaxed. He happily put away the marriage certificate, fished out a nearly melted white rabbit candy from his pocket, and stuffed it into my hand. Patting my head, he praised. So well behaved. Jet Gu is extremely handsome, with sharp and distinct facial features. A rare looker. If the barrage hadn't warned that defying him would be the death of me, I would have been eager to marry him without hesitation. Stepping out of the marriage registration office, a crowd of people swarmed around them. A middle-aged man and woman stood at the front of the group. The middle-aged man asked eagerly, "So, did you get the certificate?" Under their expectant gazes, Jet Gu waved the marriage license in his hand and said, "Got it. Are you all satisfied now?" The middle-aged man and woman in front of them immediately brightened up upon hearing this. Good. Good. As long as you've registered. Are this middle-aged couple the male lead's parents, and the people behind them are relatives invited by the parents to prevent the male lead from running away, right? Yes. They still don't know that their son has already married another woman right under their noses. Ha 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 ha, having parents who force their son to marry a fool is truly the male lead's misfortune. If it weren't for the female lead risking her life to jump into the water and save them, the male lead's parents would have drowned long ago. And it was because the female lead overexerted herself and stayed underwater too long, leading to oxygen deprivation in her brain, that she became mentally impaired. From this perspective, the male lead's parents do know how to be grateful. If they were truly grateful, why would they sacrifice their own son's happiness? They just had their eyes on the inheritance left to the female lead by her adoptive parents. They wanted to take advantage of her being alone and helpless, but were afraid of being criticized by the villagers, so they forced their son to marry a mentally impaired woman, ruining the female lead's life in the process. This world is so treacherous. Under the relentless barrage of comments flowing like a river, my chaotic mind suddenly became crystal clear. So, I had been reborn. After starving to death in the pigsty that winter night, I was reborn. The tragic memories of my past life flooded into my mind like a tide. I am an orphan, because I saved Mr. and Mrs. Gu from drowning. I was left with a foolish affliction. Mr. and Mrs. Gu claimed to be grateful, but in truth, they coveted the inheritance left to me by my adoptive parents. They forced their son to marry me. In my previous life, when the marriage registrar verified our identities, I denied being called Ivy Jiang. Thus, Jet Gu and I became legally recognized as a genuine married couple. Upon learning this, Ivy Jiang angrily married someone else in a fit of rage. As a result, Jet Gu underwent a drastic change in temperament, treating me coldly and tormenting me. After obtaining the inheritance left by my adoptive parents, Mr. and Mrs. Gu quickly showed their true colors. With Jet Gu's tacit approval, they denied me food and water. At the Gu household, I had endless chores to do every day. The slightest displeasure would result in violent beatings. To prevent villagers from discovering their abuse, they confined me indoors, forbidding me from going outside. Yet outwardly, they painstakingly crafted a victim narrative, vehemently portraying me as a complete madwoman, not only insane but also inherently violent. A year later, Jet Gu and Ivy Jiang overcame obstacles to be together. My days became even harder. Ivy Jiang hated me. She believed it was my fault that she impulsively married a pervert. She used all her strength to torment me. Jet Gu turned a blind eye to this. If it weren't for Mr. and Mrs. Gu's concern about the villagers' opinions, I would have been killed by Ivy Jiang long ago. Then one day, Jet Gu left with Ivy Jiang. When I saw them again, they were dressed in brand new clothes, wearing expensive watches on their wrists, carrying all sorts of good things in big and small bags. And it was from then on that the Gu family's life visibly began to prosper. But my situation didn't improve. Instead, it became even worse. Gu's parents completely deprived me of my freedom to walk, chaining me in the pig pen. Later, I was on the verge of death. Before I died, Gu's parents stood outside the pig pen watching me, facing my death. Their faces were filled with joy. This fool is finally going to die. Now we can go to the city with our son and live in comfort. After death, my soul wandered for a long time. Then one day, it entered a body, living each day in a daze. It wasn't until the marriage registrar asked for my name that my mind gradually cleared. I was reborn. No longer foolish. Finally, I can take control of my own life. I was pulled onto the ox cart by Gu's father and mother, shoved to the bumpiest end of the cart, just like in my past life. Gu's father and mother held my hands, their faces filled with joy, yet I clearly saw disdain in her eyes. As the barrage comment said, there are many ways to repay someone's kindness. There's absolutely no need to sacrifice your own son's happiness. In my past life, I was too foolish to understand, blindly obsessed with marrying my brother Gu. In this life, no longer foolish, I finally realized how obvious their disdain for me had always been. Marrying me into their family was merely a stopgap measure for them. The ox cart came to a halt beneath the great locust tree at the village entrance. Mother Gu stepped down to distribute wedding candies to the uncles and aunties. She's not just handing out wedding candies. She's telling the villagers that the female lead is now part of their family. No one should even think about coveting the female lead's family property. Look, a few people are leaving. Those guys have been eyeing the female lead's family property, but now the Gu family has beaten them to it. They must be furious, probably going home to take it out on their wives. Oh ho, the village chief is here too. That old man is no good either. He even wanted his dim-witted son to marry the female lead. I took a candy from Mrs. Gu's hand and stuffed it into the village chief's palm. Grandpa Chief, eat. This is Nyo-Nyo's wedding candy. The female lead made him eat candy. The old man was seething inside but had to put on a happy face. The village chief took the wedding candy from my hand, looking at me with reluctance. From the Gu family, Nyo-Nyo is a poor but good child. It's your family's blessing that your Jet can marry Nyo-Nyo. You must treat her well, or I'll be the first to object. I stood by, clapping and cheering. Mr. and Mrs. Gu quickly responded with cheerful smiles. Of course, Nyo-Nyo will be part of our Gu family from now on. And we will surely treat her well. They're all just a bunch of leeches trying to suck the heroin dry. I took Mrs. Gu's hand and tilted my head to ask, then can Nyo-Nyo eat delicious food? Can she wear new clothes? Auntie, can you promise not to lock Nyo-Nyo at home and not let her go out to play? Mrs. Gu's smile froze instantly on her face. This bullet comment is proof. The female lead is definitely not stupid anymore, she's pretending. Father Gu quickly stepped forward to smooth things over. Of course, whatever Nyo wants to eat, just tell Daddy. I'll buy it for you. If you want to go out and play, just go out and play. I happily jumped up and down. Oh, there's delicious food coming, new clothes to wear, and I can go out to play. I'm going to tell Xiao Pang. I want to eat delicious food with Xiao Pang. After saying this, I ran straight to the village chief's house. Mother Gu still wanted to stop her. But the village chief intervened. If Nyo wants to play with Xiao Pang, just let her go. They're at that playful age now. Damn, the plot's different again. To be precise, the female lead seems different. During the first playthrough, I don't think the female lead went to play with Xiao Pang. This bullet comment is proof. The female lead is definitely not stupid anymore. She's pretending. I rushed all the way to the village chief's house. On the way there, I had already made up my mind. I must leave this village. Leaving requires money and a letter of introduction. Compared to money, how to get the letter of introduction from the village chief is a bigger problem. Since the comments say the village chief also covets my family's property, openly asking for it definitely won't work. The village chief and his wife are both at the village entrance, leaving only Xiaopang at home playing with mud. Little Fatty is 12 years old now. But his brain was damaged by a high fever when he was young. He is genuinely simple-minded. I gave Little Fatty the candy that Jet Gu had given me. Little Fatty happily went back to playing with mud. To prevent unexpected visitors at the village chief's house, I propped the door shut with a wooden beam. Then I arrived in front of the village chief's office. The office door was locked, and the only key was now in my possession. Not long before, I had discreetly taken this key from the village chief. I took out the key and unlocked the office door. What caught my eye was a desk. Against the wall stood a bookshelf. I went straight to the desk, took out the key, and opened the leftmost drawer. The barrage exploded seeing my series of actions. Holy crap, holy crap. I just stepped away for a moment. What did I come back to see? Is the female lead not stupid anymore? Is she changing her fate? This is so intense. Am I the only one curious about what she's going to do? And where did she get that key? This bullet comment is proof. The female lead is definitely not stupid anymore. She's pretending. Amidst the countless questions in the barrage, I opened the drawer. I quickly rummaged through and found the paper the village chief used to write recommendation letters. Then I located the village chief's seal in the cabinet and stamped it on the recommendation letter paper. What is the female lead doing? Ah, I'm going crazy. The female lead is trying to get an introduction letter. In this era, you need an introduction letter to go anywhere. Ha 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 ha, am I the only one who noticed that the female lead isn't stupid anymore? This bullet comment is proof. The female lead is definitely not stupid anymore. She's pretending. Ignoring the frenzy in the bullet comments, I took a few extra introduction letter forms just in case. I just put the seal in the cabinet when I saw the barrage frantically urging me. The village chief's wife is back. She's at the intersection now. Hurry up, heroine. The village chief is coming too. He took the shortcut and is almost behind the house. Hurry up, heroine. Don't get caught. Seeing the barrage comments, I methodically sped up my movements. After restoring everything to its original state, I left the office and locked the door. Then, I prepared to find a place to hide the key and the handkerchief wrapped around the letter of introduction. Ah, what is the female lead doing? What is the female lead doing? Why does she seem to be looking for something? The village head and his wife are about to return soon. I pretended to mutter casually, where to hide it? Can't keep it on me. What if they search me? The barrage of comments paused briefly upon hearing my words, then it started scrolling frantically. Hide it in a hole, hide it in a hole. There's a hole in the east corner of the village chief's house, dug by Xiaopang before. Hide there, quick, hide there. Yes, hide there. That hole connects to the outside, making it easier to retrieve things later. Pretending to discover the hole by chance, I stuffed the handkerchief inside and covered it up with something. Then, calming myself down, I acted as if nothing had happened and played with Xiaopang and the mud. Not forgetting to smear mud on the clothes the village head's wife had hung out to dry. When the village head knocked the door open, he saw two mud-covered figures, me and Little Fatty, along with a yard full of mud. a murky water vat, and scattered tools lying haphazardly. The village head glared at us. But before he could scold us, he shoved me and little Fatty aside. Seizing the moment, I pulled little Fatty down with me as we both tumbled to the ground. Little Fatty fell on his bottom and burst into loud wails. I also sat on the ground, imitating little Fatty by wiping my tears and crying loudly. The village chief's wife, who arrived shortly after, nearly fainted when she saw the state of the house. The village chief arrived at the office door and saw that it was securely locked. He went into the inner room and didn't come out for a long time. When he finally emerged, he was holding a spare key. I pulled Xiao Pang along and hid by the door. We saw the village chief carefully inspect the office, then open the drawers and bookshelves to check them thoroughly. Especially, he took out the money box and carefully counted the money inside. He breathed a sigh of relief upon finding nothing missing. Phew, luckily the female lead didn't take the money. Scared the hell out of me. The village chief put the money box back in place, then turned around to see my and little Fatty's grimy faces. Those triangular eyes kept staring at my face. Seeing my expression was clear and innocent, he then called his wife to search me. The village chief's wife was confused, but I still did as he said. As the village head's wife fumbled over me, I squirmed and burst into laughter. Little Fatty stood by, drooling and grinning foolishly. That was close, that was close. That old bastard village head, haha, so nervous, I'm going to lose a couple more years off my life. Just as the village chief took out a candy and was about to ask about my family situation, Jet Gu arrived. I was taken back to the Gu family by Jet Gu. Ivy Jiang was also there, and it looked like she had been crying. It seems Jet Gu has already told his parents about their affairs. They're eager to find out how much I know. Mother Gu restrained herself from slapping my mud-covered face. She asked me with a smile, "Nyo Nyo, do you know you're married?" I picked at the mud on my clothes and played with it. "I know. Then do you know who you're marrying, Mrs.?" Gu asked. I covered my mouth and giggled. "I'm marrying brother Gu. Hihi, Mr. and Mrs. Gu breathed a sigh of relief. Ivy Jiang, sitting to the side, had a face darker than the bottom of a pot. Jet Gu asked her to endure for a while, and she agreed, but hearing me say I married brother Gu made her feel very uncomfortable. That night, Jet Gu's room was noisy for a long time, only quieting down at dawn. I was just about to get up to fetch the letter of introduction from the village chief's house. Mother Gu got up. She pulled me out of bed to work, chopping wood, washing clothes, cooking, sweeping the floor, feeding the pigs, cleaning the outhouse. These chores were all done by me in the Gu family in my past life. In this life, I won't do everything. When stoking the fire, I let it burn out of control. Washing dishes, I always break a few. Washing clothes, halfway through scrubbing them on the muddy ground, sweeping the floor, might as well not have swept at all. Mother Gu looked at the increasingly messy house and felt exhausted, so she handed me a basket and told me to go up the mountain to cut pigweed. That's exactly what I had in mind. Ha ha ha. I'm dying of laughter. This bullet comment is proof. The female lead is definitely not stupid anymore. She's pretending. Upstairs. Why so persistent? We all know this secret. I carried the basket on my back and ran all the way home. Everything in the house, whether useful or not, had been taken away by the Gu family. The house was completely empty. I remembered in my previous life, after my adoptive parents died, their faces covered with joss paper, lying side by side in the center of the main room. That day, my world collapsed, so when I saw Mr. and Mrs. Gu fall into the water, I thought of Jet Gu and didn't want him to suffer the pain of losing his parents like I did. Without hesitation, I jumped into the water to save them. Little did I know I was saving 3 Zhongshan snakes. That morning, I cried for a long time in the empty house. I cried out all the grievances from my past life. After crying, I told myself, it's time to work hard to save myself now. I took a wooden stick and searched everywhere in the house. Seeing me cry, the silent morning bullet comments became active again. Is the female lead looking for something? It seems like she's searching for something. No way, no way. The things her adoptive parents hid. They died before they could tell her. Does the female lead know something? There's something eerie about her. This bullet comment is proof. The female lead is definitely not stupid anymore. She's pretending. There's something eerie about her. Phut, is the person upstairs trying to be this funny? Among a barrage of bullet comments, I spotted one. Female lead, hurry to the backyard. The things your adoptive parents left for you are buried there. As expected, I knew it. Bullet comments must exist for a reason. Following the barrage's instructions, I casually made my way to the backyard. I stopped beside the most inconspicuous rock. The barrage said the item was right beneath the stone. It was a box. And inside the box was gold. I didn't go digging because it wasn't dark yet. I ran to the mountain and cut a full basket of pigweed. Mother GU was very satisfied when she saw it. Thinking to myself, I finally found a job suitable for me. Breakfast was prepared by Mother GU. That day at the village entrance, under the big locust tree, they promised the village chief they would treat me well and not restrict me. Although the food wasn't great, I wasn't left hungry like in my previous life. Jet GU and Ivy Jiang were busy all night and didn't get up until noon. Ivy Jiang walked out of Jet Gu's room in an awkward posture. I quickly went up to hold her and asked her to play with me. Ivy Jiang lost her balance and almost fell to the ground. She was caught by Jet GU. I got scolded by Jet GU and stormed back to my room in a huff. Jet GU walked in holding a baked sweet potato. He sat down across from me and shoved the sweet potato into my hands, gazing at me with a gentle expression. Then he started chatting with me, rambling on about this and that. Finally, he asked, "Nyo Nyo, do you know where your parents hid the good stuff? Here it comes, here it comes." The male lead and his parents couldn't wait any longer. I'm an idiot, after all. By the end of my answer, I didn't even know what I was saying anymore, thinking of my deceased parents. I truly broke down in tears, so Jet GU went to great lengths to finally calm me down. Later, I was too busy feeding roasted sweet potatoes to little ants to pay him any attention. Jet GU stormed out of my room in a huff. Mr. and Mrs. GU waited at the door, comforting each other not to worry. In the afternoon, Jet GU came again. He held out a white rabbit creamy candy and asked if I wanted it. My eyes filled with joy and eagerness. I nodded emphatically. Jet GU said he would take me to play a game. He took me to my house. He told me my parents had hidden something good at home. As long as I can figure it out, he'll give me the candy in his hand. Damn. This male lead is shameless, trying to trick the female lead out of her family fortune with just a piece of white rabbit candy. Not only did he swallow her family's wealth, but in the end, his whole family got the female lead killed. What a sneaky bastard. Female lead, you better stay sharp. Don't let your love-struck brain hand over your treasures to this scumbag. Even if he's the male lead, it doesn't change the fact that he's trash. I watched the barrage of comments and laughed inwardly. In my past life, I did like Jet GU. Even after becoming foolish, I still remembered my fondness for him. So when the marriage registrar asked if my name was Ivy Jiang, in that moment, I was no longer foolish. I want to marry Jet GU. But Jet GU, I spent a lifetime seeing his true colors. How could I still love him? I only hate that I don't have the power to kill him now. I extended my little finger and made a pinky promise with Jet GU. Pinky swear, 100 years no changing. Whoever changes is a turtle egg. I wet my thumb with a bit of spit and then sealed the promise with Jet GU by pressing our thumbs together. Ha 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 ha, look how disgusted the male lead is. His face has turned completely black. Female lead, if anyone's unconvinced, I'm convinced by you. You subtly insulted the male lead and even grossed him out with saliva. Ha ha ha. Amidst the laughter in the bullet comments, I ran around the courtyard. The small pebbles on the ground, the grass in the corner, even the useless chopsticks, I gathered a whole pile and placed them in front of Jet GU. At first, Jet Gu's expression improved quite a bit when he saw me searching earnestly. Now, his, ha 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 ha, the female lead is too adorable. If this continues, I think the male lead is going to lose it. Will the male lead go crazy and hit someone? Female lead, be careful, considering how Jet GU abused me in my past life. One thing is certain, this man has violent tendencies. To prevent him from laying hands on me, I grabbed a small shovel and started digging at the hole in the corner. I once saw a snake there, coiling around a frog, trying to swallow it, although I was very scared at the time, but I still bravely saved the frog. Disturbed by me, the snake gave up on the frog and slithered into a hole, although afterward, my mom helped me block that hole with stones. But what I really wanted to know was whether that snake was still in the hole. After just a few digs, I reached the hole about the size of an egg. I happily called Jet Gu to dig with me. Jet Gu really thought I had found something good. Upon seeing the stone cave, he frowned slightly. "Did your parents hide something here?" he asked. I nodded and tried to explain. But in the end, I wasn't even sure what I was saying. Jet Gu was also stunned. He suddenly felt that communicating with an idiot was so difficult, but seeing how absolutely certain I was, he gritted his teeth, picked up the shovel, and started digging. Just like that, half an hour passed, a large pit appeared before him and me. That egg-sized hole was still there, its destination unknown. I found a wooden stick and poked it into the hole. It seemed endless. Jet Gu watched me playing with the hole with great seriousness. He suddenly realized that he seemed to have been fooled by an idiot. Drenched in sweat, he collapsed weakly into the pit. "Phut, ha 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 ha." Jet Gu and I went home. During dinner, the expressions of those sitting at the table were quite grim. Only I, after searching for trash for half the day, was starving to the point of feeling hollow. Father Gu took a drag from his pipe, his expression dark and unreadable as he looked at me. Over the past couple of days, they had come to realize just how foolish I truly was. "Don't put all your hopes on me." They decided to go look for it themselves. But in the meantime, let Jet Gu keep taking me to play in the house. What if one day, I suddenly remember, I was eating voraciously? As for them thinking I'm foolish and discussing it openly in front of me, I was more than happy to let them. That night, the bed in Jet Gu's room creaked for half the night again. Ivy Jiang was screaming so loudly, but I didn't dare go out, afraid that Mr. and Mrs. Gu might still be awake. The next day, Mother Gu indeed woke up late. Father Gu also had big dark circles under his eyes. After all, they're getting older. I took 2 cornbread buns from the basket, picked up the back basket, and went out to cut pigweed. Detour to the village chief's house. While no one was around, I retrieved the letter of introduction from the rat hole and stuffed it into my backpack. Next, I just needed to dig up what my adoptive parents had buried in the backyard. According to the bullet comments, there were several gold bars and some jade jewelry inside. There are still some things that can prove my identity. Once I get the items, I'll exchange them for some money on the black market to buy a train ticket. I also need to find a pen to fill in the blank introduction letter. Not many people have pens these days, but they're not entirely unavailable. I was calculating in my mind. Before I knew it, I had reached the village entrance. Suddenly, a strange man appeared walking towards me. The man was holding a piece of paper, and what was drawn on it seemed to be the Gu family's pig pen. "Little girl, do you know whose pigsty in the village looks like this? Damn, what's going on? Did the female lead's biological parents come looking for her so soon? Wasn't it supposed to be a year later? Am I still watching the same show? In the original plot, the person who came looking for the female lead had a jade pendant sketch. Why are they holding a pigsty drawing this time? This show is getting more and more interesting. Is this really the time for that? The female lead still doesn't know that the man opposite her was hired by her biological parents to help find her. Hey, commenter above, you're talking as if the female lead can actually see the bullet comments. From the bullet comments, I already knew I wasn't their biological child. So what the bullet comments said, that in my past life I missed the only chance to save myself, refers to this man standing before me now. I was just about to speak when Jet Gu appeared behind me with his parents. Damn, the male lead and his parents still caught me. What do I do now, if heaven grants wishes? I wish the female lead could see the bullet comments. Now not only is the female lead acting weird, even the bullet comments are getting strange. "Nyo, who are you talking to?" Jet Gu asked the man warily. "Who are you, Mr. and Mrs. Gu?" also gathered around, their faces filled with caution. The man was just about to speak when I let out an ouch and fell into his arms. I was pulled back by Jet Gu. The man left without arousing any suspicion. I followed behind Jet Gu, my heart unable to calm down for a long time. The barrage of comments also erupted into a storm. Am I seeing things? The female lead twists her left leg over her right just by turning around. Based on my years of espionage experience, we just witnessed a perfect intelligence handover. I re-watched it carefully. It seems the female lead slipped something to the man. Did the female lead know this man was coming to see her? Oh my, the female lead is getting more and more sinister. 9. Jet Gu took me up the mountain to cut pig grass. On the way back, we happened to be seen by Ivy Jiang, who lived across the way, in order to find that thing from my home. She and Jet Gu could only be neighbors by day and husband and wife by night. Holding hands during the day had to be done sneakily, so, when she saw me with Jet Gu, she was absolutely furious. We had barely stepped inside when Ivy Jiang came looking for us. "Brother Jet, my chair is broken. Could you come fix it for me?" Jet Gu immediately put down his basket upon hearing this and followed Ivy Jiang outside. At the door, he didn't forget to say to me, "Nyo Nyo, feed the pigs yourself first. Brother Gu will take you out to play later." After saying that, he even threw me a flirtatious glance. Is the male lead trying to seduce the female lead? And that female supporting character, clearly the legitimate wife, why does she act like a complete mistress, who understands? Jet Gu took me to my house again to play, and this time Ivy Jiang came along too. As soon as the courtyard gate closed, Ivy Jiang threw herself into Jet Gu's arms. When she looked at me, her eyes were full of smugness and provocation. I naturally didn't take it seriously, digging here and poking there alone in the yard, turning the whole place into a mess. On the way back, Jet Gu tried to hold my hand. Is the male lead trying to play the loving husband role in front of the villagers? Look. The supporting female character is about to lose it again. Sure enough, a cry of ouch came from behind. Ivy Jiang sat on the ground clutching her ankle, looking utterly pitiful. Tears welled up in her eyes, on the verge of falling. What a picture of a beauty in distress. Jet Gu couldn't bear it anymore and stopped pretending to be affectionate with me. He picked up Ivy Jiang and ran straight home. The village chief's wife and Aunt Wang were making sarcastic remarks behind them. "Nyo, your man is about to be snatched away. How pitiful. She's lost her parents, and now it seems she's about to lose her man too. These villagers are disgusting," speaking with such sarcasm. I pretended to be heartbroken and ran back home. Let the gossip come. I love hearing it. That night, Jet Gu ignored his parents' dissuasion and went to Ivy Jiang's house. I estimated the time, picked up the hoe, and headed to my house. What is the female lead doing so late at night? Does she already know where the things are hidden? The female lead actually knows. Wow, this is really turning into a strong female lead story. By the moonlight, I found that stone and dug out the box buried beneath it. Just as the bullet comments had said, inside were several gold bars and some jade jewelry. There are 2 more letters, one left by my biological parents, the other was written by my adoptive parents. It turns out that my biological parents didn't abandon me intentionally back then. It was just because the situation was urgent at the time. They had no choice but to leave me, still in swaddling clothes, at the doorstep of a household, hoping I would be taken in. But that family had already gone abroad. Only a maid remained in the house. My foster mother. Later, I was adopted by my foster mother, to prevent my birth parents from coming to find me. During those years, my foster parents often waited outside that family's door, but there was never any news. My biological parents told me in the letter that they love me very much. As long as they are alive, they will find me. Sob. The female lead is so pitiful. Her biological parents are good people. It's just that later the male lead and the female supporting character pretended to be them and claimed her. Don't worry, now the female lead isn't foolish anymore, and the plot has completely changed. The female lead will definitely reunite with her biological parents. For sure. I watched the barrage of comments, tears streaming down my face. So the reason the Gu family suddenly became so well off in their previous life was because they deceived my biological parents and took their place by impersonation. No wonder their lives improved, yet they chained me up with iron shackles. No wonder. Before I died, Mother Gu said, "Finally, we can go to the city and enjoy life with our son." So they were afraid I'd ruin their plans by staying sober. They're even more disgusting than I imagined. The female lead is crying. Woo. Don't cry, baby. The item is found, the letter of introduction is secured. Now it's time for the female lead's script. Once strong enough, she can return to deal with the male lead's family later. I filled in the hole I dug. There are too many holes in the yard. One more won't attract much attention. Holding the box, I walked out of the courtyard gate. When I left, I had already taken the letter of introduction with me. Seeing that it was still dark, I made a last-minute decision not to return home. Taking advantage of the dark and windy night, I headed straight for the county town. Did the female lead just leave like that? That's so sudden. If not now, should she wait to check the calendar and pick an auspicious day to leave? I always felt that the man from the daytime had something going on with the female lead. The truth is upstairs. Just as we approached the village entrance, a figure suddenly appeared ahead. Frightened, I quickly hid in the grass by the roadside. It's Jiang He. The male supporting character has appeared. Jiang He, isn't that Ivy Jiang's older brother who serves in the military? Oh no, in my past life, his sister schemed against me so much. If he finds me, will I even be able to escape? I hid in the grass, trembling with fear. Female lead, it's Jiang He. Jiang He. What's wrong with Jiang He? Why is the barrage so excited? Female lead, come out quickly. Jiang He won't harm you. Jiang He won't harm me. Why? Although he's a soldier, he's also Ivy Jiang's own brother. What if he gets swayed by Ivy Jiang's tears just like Jet Jiyu did? Who can I even complain to about this? No matter how much the barrage keeps urging, I'm just not going out. At this moment, there's no room for the slightest mistake. I can only trust myself. As the sound of footsteps in the river grew closer, my heart rose to my throat. Fortunately, the footsteps passed by without stopping. I stayed in the grass a little longer. Only when the sounds had completely faded did I pick up my things and climb out. Stop right there. A man's sudden voice came from not far behind me. Jiang Huai, who had already left, appeared behind me at some unknown moment. It scared me so much I almost dropped what I was holding. The male supporting character has found the female lead. That's great. Female lead, if there's anyone in this world who wishes you well, besides your adoptive parents and your biological parents, it's the male supporting character, right? Female lead. Quickly turn around and throw yourself into the male supporting character's arms, crying softly, "Me, what kind of wild words are these? Turn around." At Jiang's command, I still turned around. The flashlight's beam shone on my face. And I quickly raised my arm to shield my eyes. Man who? Why are you here so late? Hey, female lead, the male supporting character rushed back specifically for you. He found out your parents passed away, so he came back overnight. That's not right. The male supporting character was supposed to return half a month after the female lead and male lead got their marriage certificate. The timing doesn't match now. Could this be the butterfly effect caused by the female lead no longer being foolish? It doesn't make sense. A butterfly flapping its wings couldn't affect the male supporting character thousands of miles away this quickly. Could the male supporting character have been reborn? The barrage comments fell silent collectively. I fell silent too. I need some time to process all this information at once. According to the comments, in the previous life, Jiang came back from the military to look for me. Female lead. In the original plot, the male supporting character specifically went to the Jiyu family to find you after returning, but was driven away by Jet Jiyu, so you never met him. Not just that. Later, when the male supporting character found out the female supporting character had impersonated the female lead's identity, he was furious and cut ties with her. But by then it was too late. The female lead and her biological parents had already died. The supporting male lead spent his entire life regretting having believed the male lead's words and not personally verifying the female lead's condition, which led to her tragic death. After his own death, he asked his comrades to bury him not far from her grave, intending to silently watch over her in the afterlife. Woo-woo, so touching. I'm crying to death. When I was little, my favorite thing was following Jet Jiyu around to play. My heart and eyes were full of him, chasing after him every day and calling him Brother Jiyu. Back then, Jiang was small and a bit withdrawn. He never played with us, yet he always followed us from a distance. Whenever I tried to approach him, he would turn and run away. It made me think I must be ugly. Later, he joined the army, and we never saw each other again. I can't imagine someone who had so little interaction with me in reality did so much for me in my past life. It's so late. Why are you here? Come on. Let me take you home. Hearing that he wanted to walk me back, I was so startled that I quickly took a few steps back. No, I'm not going back. With that, he turned and ran off. Seeing me heading toward the village entrance, Jiang He grew concerned and followed after me. After all, he was a soldier. It didn't take him long to catch up. "Where are you going? It's late. Let me come with you. It's not safe for you to go alone." He didn't ask me to stop but instead ran alongside me. We only stopped when I truly couldn't run anymore. The sky was beginning to lighten, and it wouldn't be long before the Jiu family noticed I was missing. After some thought, I decided to trust Jiang He this once, though I wasn't prepared to tell him everything. "My parents are dead. I need to leave Great Locust Village." After saying this, I immediately warned him, "You mustn't tell your sister Ivy Jiang, and you mustn't tell the Jiu family either. Also, you mustn't tell anyone in the village." Jiang He listened, just furrowing his brows in thought for a few seconds. Without asking why, he nodded in agreement. He actually agreed. I told him I was going to the capital, but I had no money on me. Jiang He didn't hesitate to pull out the money and bought the earliest train tickets to Beijing. Looking at the 2 tickets, I was speechless. Jiang He said, "I can't rest easy letting you go alone." As he spoke these words, there was a mix of joy and sorrow in his eyes that I couldn't comprehend. While waiting for the train, to prevent Jiang He from tipping off Ivy Jiang, I made sure he stayed right in front of me at all times, not letting him leave my sight for even 3 seconds. Jiang He smiled. His eyes crinkled when he smiled, revealing his snow-white teeth. It was truly a lovely sight. Far more handsome than that scumbag Jet Gu. To put my mind at ease, whenever Jianghe went to buy food or use the restroom, he would always call me along. I waited for him outside the restroom, my face as red as a monkey's bottom. This, of course, made Jianghe chuckle under his breath again. After 2 days and nights on the train, Jianghe and I finally arrived in Jing City. Following the hints from the bullet comments, I found my biological parents' home, just as the bullet comments said. My biological parents are truly wonderful people. The moment they saw me, they knew I was their biological daughter. Even so, I still took out the letter they had left in the box. As for that jade pendant, looking at the man who had appeared in the village a few days ago, standing behind my biological parents, I smiled. I told my biological parents about my experiences over the years and the actions of the Jiu family. My birth mother held me and burst into tears. She said she's been having the same dream lately. In the dream, I was beaten, abused, and died a horrible death. She wanted to save me, but couldn't reach me. After waking up, she kept replaying the scenes from the dream over and over, but all she could see was me lying in the pigsty, barely alive. She couldn't make out the face of the person in the dream, but she was absolutely certain it was me. She drew the pigsty she saw in her dream. Dad asked someone to help locate the place in the drawing. Later, she had another dream where she found her daughter. But she always felt that it wasn't her daughter. I told her that the scene she saw in her dream was real. It was something that truly happened in my past life. Both her biological parents and the barrage of comments were shocked, just not including the rivers. His pair of eyes looked at me like waves. For days, his face had remained calm and unruffled, but finally, the defenses broke. He told me that he had also been reborn, in his previous life, until the moment of his death. He deeply regretted not saving me back then, so after being reborn, he rushed back at the first opportunity, hoping to save me this time. This is also why he returned 10 days earlier than in his past life. The deaths of his adoptive parents were no accident. In my previous life, after I died, my drifting soul caught whispers of the truth. A month later, Jiang He, who had left, returned, bringing with him the investigative report on my adoptive parents' deaths. The culprits were the village chief and Gu's father. Just because they accidentally overheard their adoptive parents' conversation and learned that my family had buried gold, the two of them conspired and plotted to kill their adoptive parents, and the drowning of Gu's parents was no accident either. The village chief and their original plan was to drown me in the process of rescuing them. At that moment, someone happened to be passing by the shore, so they had no choice but to give up. And because I had been submerged in water for too long, I ended up with brain damage. After discussing it, my father-in-law and mother-in-law concluded that many people in the village were eyeing our family's property, hoping to take advantage of us being left without heirs. If they married me off, they could rightfully claim our land and house as their own. As for that gold, if I knew where it was, I wouldn't have needed them to go through the trouble of searching. They schemed and plotted, never expecting I'd recover so quickly. The village chief and Goose parents were sentenced to death for plotting against my adoptive parents and me. However, the ones who hurt me the most in my past life were Jet Gu and Ivy Jiang, in this lifetime, because they hadn't had the chance to harm me yet. They couldn't be convicted. After Jiang he told me this news, he left. I saw him again half a year later. He was darker than before, and his smile was even more handsome. He told me that he and Ivy Jiang are not biological siblings. After leaving last time, he went back and cut ties with Ivy Jiang. He took back the house and land my adoptive parents left me from Jet Gu. He knew I didn't want to go back, so he helped me sell the house and the land. He also told me that Jet Gu and Ivy Jiang weren't doing well. They had become the family of criminals and faced many scornful looks in the village. He handed me a metal box containing a bank book and countless receipts. He said it was all the money he had saved over the years to marry me. Ever since I found out I was reborn, the long-lost barrage of comments reappeared. Finally, the grand finale, happy ending. I love it, flowers and cheers, blessings, blessings.